Have you ever read one of the computer-generated life stories of one of your ancestors and thought, well, that's technically correct, but it doesn't feel like a life story? Well, today we're not talking about how to write a biography, but we're talking about something just as important, the tools that shape how that biography is told. I'm going to show you why the free text Wikicode editor in Wikitree gives you a level of control that simply isn't possible with the auto-generated story formats of the other platforms, and how that flexibility can transform a list of records into a well-crafted, readable life narrative. By the end of this video, you'll understand why formatting, headings, and links, and integrated citations aren't cosmetic details, they're structural tools that elevate your family history. Now, if you've been following along with this channel, you know that I'm a stickler for sources. And good genealogy is built on solid evidence, and I'm not backing away from that. But it's also important to understand, a good profile isn't just a pile of source documents. Those facts need to be woven together into a narrative, into a story that helps readers understand who this person really was. Like, think about an obituary. It includes birth, marriage, and death information, of course, but it also describes the person's career, their interests, their contributions, the impact they had on others. That's what we're aiming for in our family tree profiles. According to genealogical standards, a well-written profile should include descriptive biographical narrative, not just data points. Now, I've looked at FamilySearch and I've looked at Ancestry, and while they both have their strengths, they are somewhat limited when it comes to creating this kind of integrated narrative biography. Wikitree, on the other hand, gives you the freedom and the flexibility to write a biography that's as creative and as expressive as you want it to be, while still maintaining that rigorous commitment to fact over fantasy. Formatting biographies. That's what we're exploring today in Family Tree 123. Hi, and welcome back. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Jonathan, a retired pastor, a lifelong researcher, a computer nerd, and an avid genealogist. And I've made this channel to help you discover your ancestors, to tell their stories, and to leave a lasting legacy to pass down to future generations. Today we're diving into Wikitree biography writing and text formatting. I'm going to show you exactly how to edit text in Wikitree, how to format it to look professional, and how to add links and to properly cite your sources, all within the biography itself. This is video number 4 in our Wikitree series, and if you haven't seen the earlier videos, you might want to check out that link up there. But don't worry, I'll make sure this one video stands on its own. Let me quickly show you why Wikitree's approach is so powerful compared to other platforms. If we take a look at FamilySearch, you'll see they have a brief life history section under the About tab. Now, this is a computer-generated history based on the source documents that you've attached to the profile. It'll say something like this: Ernest was born on this date with these parents, he married on this date, he died on this date, and so on and so forth. It's factually accurate, which is great, but it's also, well, let's just say it sounds wooden or mechanical. Now, you can edit this life history, but you're limited to 10,000 characters. And if you want to add more detailed stories, you need to go over to the Memories tab and add them separately. Or you could use the Notes or Discussions under the Collaborate tab, but those are really more for working with other researchers than they are for telling the person's life story. So your ancestor's story ends up scattered across different sections of the profile. It's not one cohesive narrative. Now, if we switch over to Ancestry, things are a wee bit better. Under the Life Story tab, there's a timeline that begins with a summary from your source documents. Again, computer-generated, and again, very rigid in its format. Under the Facts tab, you can add additional data points to the timeline. For example, you could add information about Ernest's employment here. But just like FamilySearch, the biographical elements aren't fully integrated with your sources in one continuous flowing narrative. But if we switch over to Wikitree, we can see that this is where the platform really shines. Wikitree gives you all the freedom to weave together biography and sources with as much creativity and detail as you want to include. You can write it in your own voice. You can include historical context. You can even add family legends as long as you clearly identify them as unverified stories. For example, let's say you have a story that's been passed down in your family. You might write something like this. Mary Noble married James Jackson and was proud of her family name, Noble. It was rumored in the family that she was descended from a wealthy noble family in Ireland. Apparently, her grandfather was disinherited when he fell in love with a lower-class woman and married against the father's wishes. This story has been passed down, but has yet to be confirmed or disproven. See how that works? You're being honest about what's verified and what's family tradition, and maybe it's true. Or you can add historical context. For example, Ernest Jackson was living in Halifax at a time when many workers were transitioning from farm life to employment in the city. He worked on the railway cars sorting mail as it traveled throughout Nova Scotia, stopping at towns and villages along the way. This is how he met his first wife, Mabel, who was from Lunenburg. You see, you're grounding his life in the historical reality of his time and place, and that makes the biography so much more alive. All right, so you're excited about writing better biographies, but how do you actually format them? Well, Wikitree uses something called wikitext, or also known as wikicode, but don't let those terms intimidate you. It's not computer programming. It's just a simple markup language that lets you add formatting to your text. And there's some good news for those of us who are 55 and older. Do you remember WordPerfect back in the 90s? Some of you will remember, before Microsoft Word became the dominant word processor. If you remember WordPerfect, you'll have an advantage, because when WordPerfect first put out its WYSIWYG editor, what you see is what you get, you could see the formatting on screen, but sometimes you wanted to see it with a little bit more precision. So there was a button called Reveal Codes, and it popped up a little section at the bottom of the screen where you could see exactly how the formatting was applied. And you'd have bold text that was formatted with codes on either side, basically bold on, bold off, italics on, italics off, and so on. You could see how it works. And this is how Wikicode works. It's the same basic principle behind Wikitext markup language. And let me show you how easy it is. Okay, so here we are in the profile for Ernest Jackson. We'll click the Edit pencil, then scroll down to the Edit Text window. I'm going to walk you through editing a biography step by step, and you'll see how simple this really is. But before we start typing, let's take a quick look at the formatting buttons at the top of this text edit window. These are helpful tools that are there for you to use, especially as you get started. There's bold and italics. You know what those do. There's a link button, and this is for linking within the Wikitree environment. And then there's another link button, and that's for linking to URLs outside of Wikitree. There's an add a heading button. There's an ignore formatting button for when you want to show code without it being formatted. There's a horizontal line for visual dividers, and the C, this one's very important, is for adding your source citations. Now there are a few other buttons here, but we'll cover those in a future video. For now, these are the essentials. So let's start formatting some text. Right under this first heading for biography, we have Ernest Paul Jackson, born June 26, 1885, in the town of West Dalhousie. And I've added a footnote there in square brackets, so I don't lose track of that. His parents are James Jackson and Eudavilla Kendall Jackson. Now let's say I want to emphasize his name by making it bold. I would simply highlight his name, then click the B button. Ernest Paul Jackson. Now, there are 3 single apostrophes on either side of the name. That's Wikitree's way of turning bold on and bold off. If we scroll down and select the preview button, we can see Ernest Paul Jackson is now in bold. Quotation marks don't show, that's just for formatting. For italics, it's the same. You highlight the word, you press I for italics. This time, it puts in 2 single italics. And you'll see that it's the same as before. This will give you italicized text. Now, this is not rocket brain surgery. We've always got the buttons there in case you forget, but once you've done this a few times, you'll just type the apostrophes yourself, or single quotation marks. So if you want to add bold or italics, you can skip the buttons and just type them yourself. Dalhousie West with 3 apostrophes. That's bold. Nova Scotia with 2 apostrophes. That's italics. But wait, I hear you saying, what if you want to add quotation marks in your biography? Well, the answer is quite simple. Select the text with the quotation marks, then press the button that says basically ignore wikitext formatting. It'll add this little bit of markup language before and after, no wiki, and that's basically how HTML code works as well. All right, now let's organize our biography with headings. Headings help to break up long biographies and put them into readable sections. And the other benefit of headings in Wikitree is that they're automatically added to your table of contents at the start of the biography, indented and numbered automatically for very easy navigation. Headings are dead easy. For a main heading, you just simply use an equal sign before and after the text. For a level 2 subheading, you add 2 equal signs. For level 3, you add 3 equal signs before and after the text, and so on and so forth. So, in my biography for Ernest Jackson, it might have a structure like this. First, a heading for early life. Ernest was born in 1875 in Halifax. And then the next heading for career, and then a subheading, railway employment. Ernest worked for the Canadian Railway. And then another subheading, later years after retiring from the railway. And you can see how this creates a clear, organized structure. But please note, in Wikitree, every profile has 2 top-level headings, biography and sources. You're going to leave those alone because Wikitree is expecting to see them in every single profile. And you'll also notice that there's a little bit of code after sources, and that just helps Wikitree to know that's where to put the sources information. You can add as many other headings as you like. Now let's move on to some of the biography stuff that you can't do in other online applications. It's handy to create hyperlinks to other profiles in Wikitree, usually to family members. So let's look at Ernest Jackson's biography again. We have Ernest Jackson, his birth date and place. If we skip down a little bit, we can see that his parents are James Jackson and Eudavilla Kendall Jackson. So let's go ahead and create links for both of his parents. Start by selecting each of the names individually, then press the Wikitree link button, and this will add 2 sets of square brackets. Now scroll up to the Edit Family section. You'll see the profiles for his parents, James and Eudavilla, and right beneath the name is their Wikitree ID. If you hover over that with the mouse, it will say Copy ID. Just give that a click with your left mouse button, and it will say Copied. So it's in your clipboard. Now go back down to the name in your biography, in this case James Jackson. Click inside the left square brackets and paste the ID. That's Command-V on a Mac, Control-V on Windows. Now finally, just one more step. Add a vertical line between the ID and the name. The vertical line is sometimes also called a pipe. It's right above the backslash on most keyboards. The ID in front of the line needs to stay the way it is for the link to work. But the person's name on the right side of the line can be changed however you like it. So I'm going to add Jimmy as a nickname, and that will show in the link. So let's do the same for Eudavilla. We'll go up to the family, click on her profile ID to copy it. Then we'll go back down again and paste it into the square brackets and add the pipe. If you forget how to add this link, you can always go over to this yellow information box on the right side of the edit window. It provides you with a number of common formatting examples, and if you noticed, these examples for linking to the parents are actually Ernest's parents. They've even got the Wikitree ID correct. But what if you want to link to a website outside of Wikitree? Maybe a local historical society or a newspaper archive or something. Well, for external links, use single square brackets with the URL, then add a space, and then the display text. Here's the URL for the Nova Scotia Archives. I'll just add a space after that, and then add the words that I want to display in the link, in this case, Nova Scotia Archives. This will display the name Nova Scotia Archives, and if a person clicks that link, it will take them directly to the website. This is incredibly useful for providing additional context or sources. And finally, here's where wikitext really becomes powerful for genealogists. You can provide source citations right here in the biographical text itself. Then I'll place my cursor where I want to add the citation here at the end of the sentence. Now click the C button at the top of the edit window, and a citation link will be created that looks something like this. It's got a reference code, And it says add reference here, and then another reference code with a /. Now, between those two tags, you can paste or type the source information. For example, let's say I got this information about Ernest Jackson from a census record on Ancestry. When you're on Ancestry, you can always go to a document and it will say where the source is. Just highlight that and copy it, and then come over to Wikitree and paste it in between these two references. And that will create your source for this document. The same is true for FamilySearch. If you have a source document there, they will always have a reference code that you can copy, and then you can paste it here into the reference for Wikitree. The key is that you provide enough detail that someone else could find the exact same record that you've used. Once you've finished editing, before you hit save, it's always a good idea to select Preview. This shows you what your biography will look like before you commit to saving it. Just look for things like formatting errors, broken links, or typos. If everything looks good, then go to the bottom, add a brief note letting others know what you've done in this edit in case someone else looks up this profile. Then go ahead and click Save. And there you have it, a beautifully formatted, well-sourced biography that tells the story of your ancestor in a compelling way. When you step back and look at what we've covered in this episode, the real strength of Wikitree isn't just that it lets you type more words. It lets you shape someone's life story. Instead of a computer program assembling a biography for you, you become the thoughtful editor, crafting something that is readable, sourced, and genuinely human. That's key. That flexibility is not just a technical feature, it's a storytelling advantage. And for those of us who care about presenting our ancestors clearly and accurately, this can make all the difference. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing about your discoveries. And if you found this tutorial helpful, thumbs up and subscriptions are always appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.